To other news making headlines, a bit of turbulence hitting the aviation industry. Airbus is warning there may be flight disruptions involving some of its planes as a result of software update on thousands of its aircraft. The move reportedly has to be carried out on planes before their next routine flight. American Airlines says more than 300 of its jets are affected, but adds the software replacement will be mostly completed by tomorrow. Airbus says intense solar radiation make our update crucial to the functioning of flight controls. This comes after a JetBlue flight made an emergency landing in Florida in October, triggering an investigation. Let's now bring in Richard Levy, retired airline captain and now a flight simulator instructor. Good evening and thanks for your time.
Good evening to you from Dallas, Texas.
Now, this sounds like a major deal, recalling half of the jets on its global A320 fleet. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a good decision, of course. What's involved here with the JetBlue flight was en route from Cancun, Mexico, up to Newark, but they made an emergency landing in Tampa, Florida, as you reported. They were in cruise flight, and it could have been due to intense solar radiation. Those are sunspots we see on pictures of the sun, and it affects high-frequency communication. In this case, for international flying, it affects the elevator, airline computers. That's where they're going to be making updates, software updates to the 320 family of the Airbus. That's the 319, 320, and 321. The likelihood of this happening again is not very high, but in aviation, we do not take risks. Safety is number one.
Absolutely.
So, as you mentioned, the software update is in progress.
Yeah, and these are thousands of aircrafts that we are talking about. So what do we know about these updates? How long do they generally take?
Not long, roughly 2 hours. And that's, as you mentioned, American Airlines, the largest operator of the 320 fleet, will have the majority of the aircraft probably updated, modified by today, but definitely by end of business tomorrow. So American will be taken care of there. And the updates affects, again, what happened to JetBlue is a secondary flight control system that affects the elevators, the computers to the elevators. Elevators flap, they're the end of the aircraft, and it affects the longitudinal axis of the aircraft, nose up, nose down.
Right.
So they had a nose down movement. They took over manually and made a safe landing. Did have 15 to 20 injuries on that.
Okay.
But the software update should take care of this problem.
Okay, there are multiple airlines in Europe now because you were discussing American Airlines. European airlines also affected because of this. So are we looking at much of a disruption because of what's going to happen with the American Airlines, European Airlines? What's your take?
No, I don't think so. Delays, yes. There will be schedule. They'll have a substitution of equipment while this modifications, software updates are taking place. I'm thinking 2-3 days of some interruptions of service. As you know, in the Thanksgiving holiday, the backside of it is taking place basically tomorrow and over the weekend. And so there'll be a lot of traveling. Some inconvenience, some very few cancellations, any, but delays possibly. But I believe back to normal business by Saturday, Sunday, in majority of the Airbus fleet of 320 aircraft.
Well, that's good to know. Okay, we'll leave it at that for tonight then. Retired airline captain and now a flight simulator instructor. Thank you for your time, Richard. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good night to you.
Good night.